Artsea has made two battle songs in collaboration with Nibali's. Her first one was The Wave, and her second one is The Flame, which just came out recently. The Wave weighs at 3.92 ounces, and the Flame clocks in at 4.06. So similar weight, but it's a little different. Now, last time I did say that they flipped basically identically, and I would like to make an addendum in that it is slightly different, just a little slightly different. I would actually say that the Flame is a little better balanced. Now, the Artsea Flame came out recently, and if you are interested in these, you would have to purchase them through Artsea's website, which I will link in the description. The Wave is $85 and the Flame is $95, and you can pay a little bit more if you want it signed, I think, or engraved with her signature. I think it's like $10 more. So let's talk about the Flame, because that's the one that I got at a temp trade, and also thanks Captain Jellyfish for lending me the Wave to compare it to. These are decent battle songs, and I will say that the Flame is basically objectively better than the Wave in basically every way possible, I can tell. To my knowledge, they use the exact same blades. This dual tone blade is also on the Midnight Wave, but I'm pretty sure these are exactly the same. And they are blades that are designed to be sharpened, so they're like false lives. They don't really cut anything. And interestingly, the tip is really chunky, so if you want to grind this tip into, well, an actual tip, it's gonna take a little bit of work. And I was worried at first that that would maybe offset the balance a bit. For the Wave, I think actually grinding the blade tip to like an actual tip would make it feel more neutral, because it feels really tip heavy and maybe a little bit more at the butt. I don't know why it feels a little bit more like empty in the middle of the weight section, whereas the Flame does feel a lot more evenly distributed throughout. I'm honestly, part of me is incredulous to believe that this much material removed has affected the weight that much and the balance that much, but I don't know. It is sort of a finicky feeling battle song. They're okay. I don't think that they're bad. I do think that for the price you can find things that are better. Also, I guess first I'll go over the changes from the Wave to the Flame. First things first, no hole cutouts in the Flame. Second thing, jimping. Much more jimping on the Flame, as you can see. And you can see just twice as much jimping. Thirdly, I mean, this one's pretty minor, I suppose. This, nice, honestly, I like how this looks. This is not on the Flame, and the Flame does have this laser flame pattern. In pictures, I thought that there was grip, like textured grip, like how a lot of aluminum battle songs have, but no, this is just a lasered pattern. And honestly, and the last one I think is the faux speed channel on the Flame, which gives a little bit of grip compared to the Wave. They are Nibali's bead blasted aluminum, and I think they're 70-75 aluminum. I don't know if the Wave was, but I'm pretty sure the Flame is. I can double check that later. What can I say about these battle songs? I feel like the weight distribution is a little weird. The Flame is more evenly distributed weight than the Wave is, but it still sometimes just feels a little strange to maneuver. The handles are comfortable. I'm still kind of disappointed that it is not grippy, and not that it is that slippery, but it is still bead blasted aluminum. It's not terrible. The jimping is actually really nice. I like that they doubled the amount of jimping, because, I don't know, I have fat fingers, and so having this much up and down, it really helps. And I don't know, it's like it fans pretty neutrally, I would say. I think it is arguably more neutral than the Vulp is. The Vulp, to me, felt pretty handle biased. This, you can chaplain, you can fan, you can do some rollovers. I do think it is interesting to have a Balisong that is designed to be sharpened, but just the inherent... I mean, there are false edges. False edges look like real knives. This Balisong looks like a real knife far away. Like, you can tell upon closer examination that this tip is non-threatening. Maybe you can tell that this edge is not sharp, but like, if you want a Balisong that you can sharpen later, a false edge Balisong would probably be safer, because a Balisong like this, again, grinding down the tip, that's tip weight that you're losing. And the tip weight in the Wave feels weird compared to the Flame. Like, the Flame feels more balanced. Like, rollovers feel a little funkier on this. And it just, I don't know, it just feels sometimes just a little odd to flip. I think just because of just how chunky the blades are on these aluminum handles. Again, it does feel balanced, but there's just some times where it just feels like things rotate around the pivots just a little oddly. Like, you have to kind of let the momentum guide you. And I guess you could say the thing about any Balisong, really. Like, but like, not that this feels like a bearings Balisong, but bearings Balisong, you have to kind of let the momentum guide you because of just how bearings work. But these are bushings, and this is actually a pretty good tune, I will say. It's like not the best tune, but it's solid, especially for a Balisong under $100. I think the Flame is aesthetically pretty pleasing. Like, it looks pretty nice. I love the DT blade. I think the handles look nice. I love the way the Midnight Wave looks too, but just, I don't know. I'm not in love with these. I think that they're fine. And I wonder, I don't know why. Again, I've brought this up. I don't know why Artsea distributes them herself. I think it would honestly be, maybe it would be easier if Nibali's just distributed it themselves. I don't know if it would cost as much. It might be more in line with the Vulp's price, or maybe it was just how the deal works, but Artsea sells it on her websites and distributes them herself. So you cannot get these on Amazon either. And I don't know. I think it's hard for me to find things to say because it flips decently. It is a very solid beginner Balisong. I don't love this, and I think honestly, even if this was one of my earlier Balisongs, I wouldn't necessarily keep this in the long run. That said, the Flame is better than the Wave. If you were to buy a Wave, I think spending $10 extra for the Flame is better. Like, I think it's just a better deal. But honestly, still at those price ranges, if you wanted a false edge, Nibali's has released the Canyon. I do know that I really want to try one. I have yet to try one. The Canyon being so inexpensive at $50, but it's also pensless, so it does seem to have some issues with maintaining handle gap, but most people seem to forgive that because of the low price point. There's also the Hydra, which I think sits at a similar price point. I have not flipped a Hydra, so I cannot attest to its quality. The Vault Pro now has a false live blade, which looks honestly incredible. And then there are other Balisongs that Nibali's has a lot of competitors, and it's like same price point. And I frankly could not tell you if the Wave or the Flame. I mean, I could tell you the Flame is better than the Wave. I could not tell you yet about the Hydra since I have not flipped one. That's kind of like something I want to be able to talk about just for like the sake of like comparing things. And Orion's 1.5 for a live blade, I want to say sits at like $85, and that's $10 less than the Flame. It is channel though, Orion's Sandwich, if that matters to you. As far as the bead blasting goes, it is pretty smooth and comfortable. It does not feel like a Mako, which is a much less pleasant texture, I would say, and a much slippery or bead blast. And the Flame, I don't know. My overall impression of the Flame is just, it's pretty good, but it's not mind-blowing. And if you do grind that on the tip, it would maybe make this feel more handle biased, which if that's your preference, then cool. But I don't know. There are certainly other things. Uh, I don't know. I wish I had more to say about the wave and the flame, and I just don't really know what to say besides they're pretty they're all right. They're pretty. They're a little goofy with the blades, but yeah, I mean, power to Artsea. It's certainly not easy to design a battle song. It's really cool that she got to do this collaboration with Nipalis. She was, I think, doing this around the same time that Will Hirsch released the original Vulp. So that's really cool and impressive. And I'm not knocking on her personally or even her product necessarily in the sense like I don't have much negative things to say. I just find that like just the price to the nice is that there are other things that are nicer for the same price. And if you do want to support her and you do want these battle songs, if you like how they look and you want to support that, these are fine. They are not bad at all. There are much, much worse battle songs that cost more. And so these are actually quite solid. And so, yeah, Artsea is, I mean, she's a pretty big YouTuber, relatively speaking, in terms of the battle song community. And I think the Flame is an improvement to the Wave. If she does something more in the future, I don't know if it would be in her best interest to sell it through Nipalis, but obviously her business decisions are her prerogative, and so that's up to her, of course. But this has been the Artsea Flame as well as the Wave, and if you like this content, please subscribe, click the bell to get notified, like the video, comment your thoughts. What do you think about the Flame and the Wave? I would also say, as last time, if you own a Wave, you don't need to also buy a Flame, but if you really want to, you can. It is better than the Wave, but like they're similar enough that it's like not the end of the world. Like a Kraken 2.5 to a Kraken 3 is like, I would say kind of like a similar feeling in terms of the difference of these, albeit like, the obvious like no face holes, but yeah, I guess let me know and check out the coffee in the description. A little bit goes a long way. Both of these I have to mail to different people, so that's like, it's all shipping costs, and I don't have monetization. But if you subscribe, eventually I am on the road to 300, so maybe someday I will be able to monetize these videos and help cover shipping, at least through the channel. But thanks for tuning in, and happy flipping. I can't click the stop button with one hand.